Greetings and welcome to the Astronomy Picture of the Day podcast. Today's picture is titled NGC 55, a galaxy of nebulas. So what do we see here? Well, here we see the galaxy known as NGC 55. And we're seeing the galaxy edge on. It would be an example of a spiral galaxy because we can see the flattened disk here. And galaxies, like a spiral, would have a flattened disk and would also have a lot of nebulae in them. Now, how do we see a nebula in a distant galaxy? It's not very easy to do. And that's because the nebula itself is going to be relatively faint compared to the galaxy. It's not going to stand out as it does within our galaxy because we're not comparing them to our entire galaxy. We're comparing nebulae to the background of dark space, which does make them stand out. So how do you make a nebula stand out? Well, the difference with a nebula and a star is that a star emits light at all wavelengths. So in terms of visible light, that's everything from red through violet. A nebula emits only specific colors based on the elements that it's composed of. And nebulae in general have a lot of hydrogen in them, and oxygen is another common element. So if we look just at those wavelengths, the very specific wavelengths emitted by hydrogen and oxygen, then it will illuminate this nebulae prominently because we're seeing all of the light that they're putting out, and we're only seeing a tiny fraction of the star's light. So the light of the stars is still there, but we're only looking at a portion of their light, whereas we're looking at all the light the nebula produces. And that makes them stand out in an image such as this. This is a 50-hour exposure looking at those two specific wavelengths of hydrogen in red and oxygen in the blue in this galaxy, and really allowing us to study the nebulae in a galaxy that is over 6 million light years away. Now, this works well for relatively nearby galaxies. If you tried to go too far out, if you tried to look at this for very distant galaxies, it wouldn't work because you simply just would not get enough light to be able to do this. But for a nearby brighter galaxy, it allows us to see all these different emission nebulae. These are nebulae that shine through the emission of light when they are excited by hot stars. And what they demonstrate is star formation. So in a disk galaxy like this, star formation is ongoing, and the gas that we see is all gas that has been excited or expelled from these hot stars. So it could be things like general emission nebulae, things like the Orion Nebula in our galaxy. The key would be that the nebula has to be emitting a specific wavelength of light, and that it also has to be large enough to be able to be seen. A small nebula would still be very hard to see at this great distance. So here is one way that we can look at and study the nebulae within a distant galaxy, such as NGC 55. So that was our picture of the day, titled NGC 55, a galaxy of nebulas. We'll be back again tomorrow for the next picture, previewed to be Orion's treasures. So we'll see what that is about tomorrow. And until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.